Hey, Uncle Moan. So, wanted to share with you something that I was reading in Proverbs 23. It's verse 31. And in the Passion Translation, it says, "And don't be drunk with wine, but be known as one who enjoys the company of the lovers of God." And so, when I was reading this verse, I was actually thinking about Ephesians chapter 5, where Paul was giving instruction about not getting drunk with wine, but be filled with the Holy Spirit, speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, and basically sharing words of encouragement. And I just find it fascinating that Paul extrapolates so much information and revelation for us out of the new covenant. Obviously, the old covenant was all he had, but I still find it amazing how much he draws inspiration from anything from the 5 books of Moses to Psalms and Proverbs in his writings. And so as I was reading this, thinking about being filled with the Holy Spirit and wine, wine can represent the pleasures that this world has to offer us. And those pleasures oftentimes distract you and detour you from the call of God on your life. But the Bible also has the antidote to the problem. And in Song of Songs, in chapter 1, it talks about how Jesus' love is better than wine. And so if we are willing to stay committed to drinking deeply from the well of God's love for us, His love is better than all the other wine that this world can offer, and helps us to stay on course with our mission and the purpose that God has for our lives. So when we set our hearts on drinking deeply from the most intoxicating and exhilarating wine, we find ourselves overcome with the reality of how insatiably good our God is and how transcendent His love is for us. And His love for us lifts us up higher to where that we set our hearts on the things that He values and the things that give His heart pleasure. And then we find ourselves walking in tune with the Holy Spirit and being at the right place and at the right time. So the better we get at drinking deeply from the well of God's love for us, the better equipped we'll find ourselves to be to walk out our calling. I think about Ruth. In our church right now, we're doing our summer sermon series on the book of Ruth. And in Ruth chapter 2, verse 3, it talks about how Ruth just happened to come upon the field belonging to Boaz. And one of the things that I find really fascinating is Pastor Joseph Prince talks about breaking down some of those words into the Hebrew. And the word happen is kara, and it is better explained as prayed opportunities or prayed happenings, or the Lord orchestrating your steps. And so in reading all this, I can see here how choosing not to let the pleasures of this world distract us, intoxicate us, detour us, however you want to describe it, but instead delving deep into the love that Jesus has for us really shows what a different path that can set your life on, and how the wine of God's love for you is so freeing and helps you to stay on course with God's plan for your life, and that it equips you and empowers you to be at the right place and at the right time. Because the more you're getting saturated in the presence of God and in His love for you, the more you're in tune with the Holy Spirit, the more sensitive you are to His leading, and you find yourself being at the right place at the right time, doing just the thing you were supposed to be doing, sharing words of encouragement with others, which may very well be the bread of life that they needed for that day. So just a little bit of encouragement for you from Proverbs 23. And again, that's in verse 31 in the Passion Translation. I love you, Uncle Moan. Have a good day.